Good morning. Hi, I'm Mary Winters, a gerontologist, the owner of About Senior Solutions, and you are watching Visionary Aging. I put this show together because I want people to have resources. I want them to think about what steps they need to plan because sometimes we don't know what we don't know. And I want you to be able to age successfully and to have your wishes fulfilled as we develop into our saging years. But I want them to be marvelous years. So I'm here just to share with you, and we have some great guests today. We're going to talk with Melinda Hughes, our very favorite, about the connection between fitness and brain health. So the heart and the head is specifically what we're going to talk about today. And I wondered if you knew about how many centenarians are living in our world, in our country these days. It's growing faster and faster, and there are about 450,000 centenarians living in the world today, and there are roughly about 70,000 in the United States. And as we learned in our last show, or a couple shows back, Morningstar in Pasadena, California has 10 centenarians, actually quite vibrant, living in their community. So I think we're going to take a little field trip over there and perhaps meet some of them. I would love to be able to do some of that. So I also want to talk about, we have something called the perk, which is something that we can send to you in an email. It's a daily little fun kind of activities that you can read through, little fun facts, things that people enjoy doing even with their children and grandchildren. And then the other fun thing about it is that there is a backside, a flip side to the perk, and it has a little word search in that. So you also get a little brain stimulation with that. So if you are interested in getting something like that, please reach out to our office. It's 626-359-0108. And we will shuffle that off in an email to you every single month, and you can enjoy it every single day of the month. So please feel free to reach out and talk to Ginny. Ginny's the one that knows what day it is every day, and she'll get that out to you. So please, please, please. Steve McCullough is not with us today. He is with his family at a special event in Ohio today, celebrating the life of his mom. So those of you who view and see him routinely, please feel free to reach out to him and give him your support and wishes of gratitude for the work that he does on our program. He does our caregiver question, and I think we'll go ahead and go into a question today, even though Steve's not here. All right, so that caregiver question, drum roll, please. Our caregiver question today that came in is, my mom is not doing her laundry. I'm very concerned about her hygiene, and what can I do to help support that? So, and that's from Carrie over in North Dakota. So thanks, Carrie. And I think that's a really common concern that many people have about an elderly loved one. And I was actually talking about this with somebody on a Dodger, sitting next to me on in a Dodger game the other day. And we basically decided that sometimes people can't smell themselves. Sometimes they can't physically get to manage the laundry. Sometimes it's apathy, they don't care. Sometimes it may be a cognitive issue in regards to understanding what those processes are to make the clothes clean. Maybe there is no awareness that there is a problem with their cleanliness, and it is a concern. So I think really what needs to be done is to do a deeper dive as to why. So is that something that you can take your parent to a professional to see and discuss, and hopefully come up with some solutions on what to do? Maybe some testing needs to be done. Maybe just a nice little conversation with your mom too in advance. I don't know if you're aware, but I can smell an odor, and I was checking myself, and I think it might be you. Is that something that I can help you with? Do we need to do some laundry? Take it in a very in a way that's not threatening to them, and see what they might share with you. Maybe talk about that with their physician. Maybe they're afraid to move because they may fall, and so maybe there is not just an incontinence issue as much as an ambulation issue. Maybe they need some extra protection in their clothing to be safer as far as getting to the bathroom in time, that sort of thing. So a little conversation can help. And I know you love her and you want to make sure that she is feeling her best and doing her best. So thank you, Carrie. And please send your questions out to us. We look forward to answering them. And those go to Steve at info, I-N-F-O, at aboutseniorsolutions.com. And he will present your question on our program. And sometimes we wrap a whole show into them because we have a fantastic guest who can elaborate on that. So I know, I think we're going to share our birthday first, because we have from Olympia, Washington, we have someone who just turned 100. His name is Charlie Jackman. So let me go ahead and pull up his pictures. I love it. I love Charlie's pictures. So here we go. Here's Charlie. And I think what we're going to do now is bring on our lovely Melinda, and we're going to talk a little bit about the brain and the heart and how those are connected. And actually the whole body is really connected. I think sometimes we think that podiatry and dentistry are completely separate from our bodies in ophthalmology, because our insurance doesn't cover it the same way. But we are going to talk about some tips on how to make that work really well. So hold on, I'm going to bring in, well, oh, you know what? I've got our intro. Let's do our intro first. Here we go.
Hey, Mary.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great. Well, it was kind of fun because I was reading through some emails and I was reading a study, and it came out of actually called MOCA. It's an organization who provides assessments on cognitive functioning. It's the Montreal Cognitive Assessment. And they have a speaker, a neurologist, who is speaking on this very topic. So we thought, why don't we run with that topic as well and discuss some of the very specific things, the study actually says that our heart or cardiovascular health is directly related to our brain health, which we knew.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that said, and our memory works differently in regards to loss of memory due to cardiovascular issues versus Alzheimer's too. And sometimes people even have a combo of those things. But share your wisdom with us today. Talk about what all that means and what we can do to support our brain health with cardiovascular.
Yeah, so the experience that we have, we've worked with quite a few people who've had, Alzheimer's or dementia at the Strength Shop over the years. We have a client currently that is diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and what the studies that have come out say that strength training is incredibly effective to reversing that memory loss or preventing it. And from what I understand, as we age, and when we're talking about strength training, we're usually talking about the effect that aging has on our muscles and our bones. But as we age, we lose muscle tissue, we lose bone tissue, but that's not the only tissue that we're losing. Our entire body, all of our organs are kind of slowly deteriorating. So the same goes for our heart and our brain. So one of the cool things about strength training is that not only are we building new muscle tissue or building new bone tissue, our organs are actually becoming bigger and stronger as we as we strength train, and that includes the heart and the brain. So I think that the connection there is kind of a connection with the whole system. Is
Sure.
how is our whole system either aging and losing muscle, losing bone, losing the strength in the heart, and also losing that matter in the brain. They say that on brain scans, there's like holes, like a little brain loss, tissue loss,
It is.
that they can detect far before a person begins to lose their memory. And with something like strength training, there's been study after study showing how, proving that a strength training program can actually reverse that loss of brain tissue. And we definitely know it strengthens the heart. That's something that we've long known. So, as we're working the muscles and developing the bone, what's happening is growth hormones are being released. There's a process going through the blood. So it's not just, the tendons that support the muscles and support the joints are becoming stronger. So it could be a matter of exercise increasing the amount of blood flow, and it's doing that throughout the entire body, including the brain, which
Yeah.
then increases the amount of oxygen and nutrients that gets to the brain tissue. That promotes the development of new blood vessels. And certainly we're not going to lose blood vessels that are in use. Exercise also increases neurotransmitters, which are important as far as mood and sleeping, and also memory and learning. Those neurotransmitters are important. So there's a lot that goes into what happens to our bodies as we exercise with both the heart and the brain, even though we traditionally are thinking, oh, I'm just, working out my muscles, or
Right.
I'm exercising to lose fat. It's really the more you look at the studies, exercise really isn't about, having a good looking figure or even maintaining the strength. as we age to be able to do the things that we do. And that's, I think, the motivation that many people have when they start any type of exercise program, including strength training at the strength shop. But it is really important for maintaining brain health. It is really important for strengthening the tendons and just your organs, your kidneys, your liver. Everything becomes stronger when you're strength training.
Yeah, it really does. And I know you've talked about this in the past, and I want to bring up a study that they're doing over at USC right now, which I found really fascinating. And as I spoke with this young researcher, um, we kind of hit on this excitement of what he may be able to find in supporting brain health, just like with muscle in the human body. When you're exercising like you do, you've shared that you have like these little fine tears, right, to help
Yes.
support. So share a little bit about that too, and then I want to go back to this USC study too.
So when you're contracting the muscles, when you're lifting the weight with strength training, the muscles are contracting, and those contractions, because they're intense, are producing these microscopic little tears. And at the same time, when you're contracting the muscle is pulling on the bone where the bone or the muscle is attached to the bone. So that's how our body moves, right? And I think sometimes people don't stop to think exactly how the body is built, but our muscles are attached to our bones. And when we contract our muscles, they pull the bones in whatever direction that is.
Sure.
So when you're lifting weights and those muscles contract, they tug at the bone. And at the bone, they cause those microscopic little, for lack of a better word, tiny little micro traumas. And those tiny little micro traumas or tiny little microscopic tears in the muscle fibers basically initiate a process of recovery and repair in the body. So the body begins to release growth hormones, osteoblasts, which help build bone tissue. And these things circulate through the bloodstream and they go to wherever they're needed. And so these studies are showing that, you know, as a personal trainer, that's really where our focus is, making someone's muscles and bones stronger. But what's really happening is as that happens, your brain is becoming, you're building brain tissue, your heart's becoming stronger, your kidneys are becoming stronger, your liver is becoming stronger. And it's just kind of a system-wide response to that stimulus.
Interesting. So
It's
this
really cool.
It is. And so this USC study is basically, his theory is that if we put our body into stress, whether that may be cold or heat, so maybe a sauna or doing the cryogenics, that it actually will help to repair the body as well. So the studies currently are on worms because he said we can't test fast enough with a mouse or with anything that way. So we are using worms to study initially, and we are finding that there is better muscular strength. And I'm thinking, I wonder if this will help someone with Alzheimer's, or I wonder if this may be a support to curing some level of neuromuscular diseases, such as things that people suffer with from Parkinson's or ALS and the many, many, many other neuromuscular diseases out there. So I hope he's on to something that could be so simple to support the change or the slower progression of a disease, or maybe eliminate it altogether. But as we know too, researchers, they have a lot of information about what Alzheimer's is, but they're trying to find it earlier. And when can we, if we find it earlier, can we prevent it from happening? And I think that's the other kind of thrust of his research is, if I can find it early and do these things, environmentally, we know that like 80% of what we do to our body is how we age our body, right?
Yes.
And so if we can look at how we do things to our body at a younger age to prevent things in our old age, just like skin cancer, if you're using sunscreen at a younger age, you're less likely to have skin cancer at an older age. So I'm just fascinated. I'm really hopeful that something.
Yeah, I think I think it's twofold, right? So what we're looking at is what are the things that we're doing that's aging our body more quickly,
Mhm.
like, spending a lot of time in the sun. And then what are the steps that we can take to, slow that natural process that is a natural process,
Mhm. Mhm.
like using sunscreen. So that I think that's kind of what is happening with brain health right now. Obviously, there's quite a few people who are, it's becoming a very common a very common condition for
Mhm.
people
Mhm.
at this point. And so there's got to be a reason that it's becoming more common.
I think
And
that's probably environmental to a certain extent too. I
yeah.
mean, we didn't have all of the processed foods. We didn't have some of the environmental issues. We didn't have some of the medications perhaps that we're taking
Hmm.
now. Or I think there are things that we're doing better, but I think that there are things that we're forgetting or that we've lost track of. And when you look at things like the blue zones, the studies with the blue zones, the people who live those areas where people live to be the oldest also seem to be the areas that are kind of isolated or choose to have kind of this encapsulation of their culture,
Yes.
thought process, and kind of eliminating some of these outside world issues and modernism. And
I
it,
think you just really hit on a point. Is there's a lot of deterioration with stress. That was one of the things that when I went through my master's program in nutrition, I don't know if I've shared this on the program before, but one of my clients said, "What is the biggest, like, what's the huge takeaway? What is the number one thing?" And the number one thing across the board that struck me, that stuck out, if I had one thing, if I could say one thing about getting a master's in nutrition, was that stress kills you. Because every single, in the master's program, you're learning the separate systems of the body. So you learn the cardio system and you focus on heart health and you learn all of the different ways that nutrition and lifestyle impact heart health. But the common thread through the entire program was that stress deteriorates every system of your body everywhere. And it kills you.
yeah,
It kills
yeah,
you.
for sure.
So I think sometimes with the areas of the world where people are living longer, healthier, happier in a lot of ways lives is areas where living has been simplified and they're not, on the go, go, go hamster wheel
Right.
that some of us who live in big cities or other parts of the world maybe in. One of the cool things about, you had mentioned saunas,
Uh-huh.
and there's a Dutch man named Wim Hof. Have you heard of Wim
No,
Hof?
I got it.
Oh, Mary, you should look him up. You would
Okay.
really like his work.
HAUF or
WIMHOFF, Wim Hof. And he is behind a big movement of cold dips and
mm,
swimming in very, very cold water. And essentially, um, these people never get sick. They
wow.
don't get sick. Their immune system is so strong. And what goes along with a strong immune system is the ability to fight off um, things that deteriorate your body,
Sure.
things that cause harm to the human body. A strong immune system will get rid of. And that when you've got pathogens of any sort coming into contact with your body and slowing things down because you don't have a strong immune system, that's going to affect aging too.
Sure, absolutely,
Because,
absolutely. Inflammation, I mean,
yep,
all the things, right? We could do 10 more shows just on segments of
I
the
know.
little things we can avoid, and maybe we should. So, I think as much as people send us things on, um, the caregiver questions that are so great, we would love to get more questions on
Yes.
business, health and fitness, some of the brain studies that may be out there, any other research that you are curious about or want to share with us, or maybe you're a researcher yourself and you'd like to present some of the information that you're researching, bring it. I think it'll be great. So we're here to share and make sure that everybody ages really, really well. So
there is a new exercise method that I've heard of through the grapevine. I don't know who the person is who's kind of doing this experimental thing. But for people who have Alzheimer's, apparently there's some research that says if you challenge yourself cognitively while performing muscular contractions, it's effective, more effective at, because you're exercising both the brain tissue and the musculature. So it's producing a bigger effect. I guess that's the premise or the theory. So this person that I've heard of through the grapevine is doing, strength training with cognitive exercise. So I don't know how he's doing that, but it may even be a matter of introducing new information while the person is strength training, where their brain is having to process something at the same time as their body is having to process something. But it's that challenge and having the body respond to the challenge that makes us stronger. So, it's interesting research that's coming out now. And I'm excited to be, in this industry and learning as things come out.
Yeah.
Because I think in 10 years, we're going to know a lot more about cardiovascular health and brain health and how they're connected and how the muscles are connected and how the whole body kind of works. So it's just
sure. In fact, just going back quickly to your comment about cognitive fitness and strength training. I do have, it's not strength training so much, but he's doing two things at one time. I don't know how he does it. I would fall. We have to kind of concentrate, but he very slowly has a treadmill. He has a standing desk. He has a treadmill under him, or he's walking on the whole time at his desk, very slowly. So he's doing that while he's working. I'm sure there are points in the day where he needs to turn that off, or maybe it's just a certain time period where he's maybe reading. It's a little easier to process and do that. But wow,
yeah,
that's really good stuff. So I also put up here our website, aboutsenior-solutions.com, and we have a really great quiz. You can take the quiz, find out if you're an action hero in regards to your own planning and what you know and do for yourself. And maybe you're really high, maybe you're that action hero, or maybe you're like a little bit of an ostrich or somebody who needs to take some baby steps forward to improve what you want to do. So jump on the website, aboutsenior-solutions.com, take that quiz, ask Jenny for the perk at 626-359-0108. And how do people get a hold of you, Melinda, if they want to go to the strength shop? Because you have more than just one. I know we're just in California, in Southern California, or you are. But share how to get a hold of you so that.
So our phone number is 626-999-4850. And we receive phone calls and text messages on that line. We are located in Pasadena, California, and between Echo Park and downtown LA. So we've got 2 locations, but we also do virtual training, Mary. So for those anywhere, you can jump on a call like the one we're on now, and with an instructor guiding you through a customized workout that's just for you. You can work your body, work your muscles, and become stronger.
Work your brain, work your brain too, right?
Yeah.
It just helps. It helps. I noticed too during the very beginning of COVID, and then we'll take off. But the very beginning of COVID, I could see, because I wasn't working out, the gyms were closed. I was kind of more of a gym person. I love being out in nature, but I did my exercise primarily in a gym. And when that shut down, I started losing muscle mass, but I started losing my coordination and different things that were kind of scaring me. So jumped into the strength shop, and I've been doing it ever since. And boy, I just feel so blessed to be able to have you and your organization. I've worked with a few of your trainers over the last year and a half or so, and it makes a difference. And I feel like hopefully I can be an example to others aging also, and just know that resources like Melinda and the Strength Shop are so, so important. So
Thank you so much. And you are an inspiration to,
Oh,
I mean, you're an inspiration to me, so I know you're an inspiration to other people.
oh, thank you. Well, my friends and my friends out there watching, have a fantastic weekend. I hope you have some wonderful plans and that you're connecting with people. That's going to be my big thing right now too, is these making connections again, that things are opening up. I think we've gotten used to being isolated, and it kills me to hear that, I'm kind of okay just being home and not doing anything. And like, no, I'm not okay with it. I want you to be connecting with people. So see if you can connect with a friend, even if it's just calling someone. But see if there's a special event you can get out to, or fun, some fun event out in your local community to join. All right. Have a great day.
Sounds good.
All right. Here we go.